All right. So, Sharon, I am really looking forward to talking about the different projects a little bit. And there were so many that were so great. And I'm really glad when I looked at your scores and my scores, we were so on the same page, which is awesome.
Yeah,
And,
we were totally
I felt
aligned.
like the way that our products were used was really, really very interesting, particularly with a lot of the cabinetry and some of the ceiling work and the millwork and whatnot, really being able to see those behind the scenes pictures, I think kind of added a different level to the finished product.
That was awesome. I think it's really great to see the before and the progress. And then you're right. And then when you see it in the final shots, no matter what angle they get, you have a really good idea of what that space looks and feels like. And I think for me, there was a lot of feeling in all of the submissions. There was definitely a lot of emotion. I think that's when you're working with a client, whether it's a commercial project or residential, they seem to really be engaged with their clients, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. And I really loved the ones that stood out to me were either ones that had really exceptional use of color or the ones that were able to weave in this really beautiful symbolism. I thought that
Yes.
was done really nicely.
You're right. And there was some historical references, which are really nice. And we talk about that when we're even doing trend forecasting. We talk about historical references and how that works into homes and into design spaces. So yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, no, I think they did a really nice job with that, particularly the Travel Mar space, the commercial space. That was really cool because they were kind of bringing in the, brick, and that was really beautiful. And I love the way that they used the, warmth of those colors, but then they also had the deeper tones and the white. That was really nicely done.
Yeah, I think the contrast was really great in that particular one. And actually, that is also something that kind of jumped up, even though a lot of the designers were using neutral colors, it was really about how they layered in contrast and some different texture, and whether it's references or different emotions through color. So it was really nice. Sometimes it's really subtle, and then
Yep.
sometimes it really kind of jumped out as a pop of color, like in Travel Mar.
Yeah, yeah. And same thing with the prologue of An Artistic Voyage, like really that dark enveloping space, which based on a lot of the other projects that were more like layered neutrals, which was gorgeous. They
Hmm.
were absolutely beautiful, but
Beautiful.
they really took a different approach by having that deep dark color that, I don't know, maybe it was a little bit unexpected, but it just created this dramatic yet enveloping space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was it. I think seeing the dark colors used in different ways, whether it's in smaller spaces and larger spaces, it's really about how they worked with the light, whether it's natural light or the artificial light. And I thought it was interesting that a lot of the designers called out the Kelvin that was
Yeah.
being used because it's such an important part of how the color feels in the space.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, you're right. And it was almost kind of thinking about the role of color in the design on almost a deeper level than, people think about it. If you're a designer, yes, you absolutely think about it that way. But for the average customer, they may not think about it in that way. And, it was also nice to see, the durability piece and how,
Yes.
they were so dialed into thinking about how the space is going to hold up to living in the home, which is, such an important thing. So I felt like, being an American brand, I thought that was just a really nice testament to, the products that we produce and so forth.
Yes, you're right. And seeing it in on cabinets, on full ceilings, millwork, everywhere. And
Yeah.
they really thought about what product was going to be best for the homeowners or for the commercial space, and played it right through.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
sheen,
And
I think sheen you could see
mm,
was also really important, whether it was like adding a bit of sheen for something as a drama and a higher gloss, or the eggshell to kind of just really, reflect the color back in a more gentle way. It was really
yeah.
thoughtful.
Yeah, yeah. And I think actually thoughtful is a really good word. I think that carries through literally all of the projects. You can just see that there was so much deliberate thoughtfulness that went into it that it really comes through in the end results. So well, I think,
Yeah.
it's exciting. We've got our gold, silver, and bronze winners. And so I think thanks to them for working with us and for putting together these projects. And, it's always fun to take part in these, judging competitions just to see what people are doing and how that's going to spark different ideas.
Yeah, very inspirational. And we're really excited for all of you. And congratulations to everyone. And thank you for including our product. It was wonderful to see all the creative ways it's being used.
Yep. Thank you so much. Congratulations.